So last week I had the automation AI build me this off-road truck, and it turns out, at least in BeamNG, it's actually darn good. Surprisingly good off-road, so much so that there was only really one obstacle I could find on the grid map that this thing could not take, which was very surprising. It's only got 175, 176 horsepower, V6, but it does have pretty much everything you would want to see in an off-road vehicle, so the automation AI did a decent job. Today, I'm going to try my best to improve it, and by that, I mean hopefully it's going to have a little bit more power. Okay, I will do more than add just power, but before we get into that, I just wanted to say thank you for watching this video. I noticed on my analytics that my videos tend to have a very high like to view ratio, like it's more than 10% on a lot of these videos. More than 10% of you that are watching actually like the video, and I appreciate that a lot. Thank you guys for your support on these. I kind of let things slip the past couple weeks, and even before that I had some big goals for 2025 and I am failing hard at those, but we're on our way back, so let's get back into it. So what makes a good off-road truck? Well, a few things. I mean, you need good angles, you need to have a good approach, breakover, and departure angle in order to be able to clear most obstacles. You need to have tires that are good in whatever your choice of terrain is. In this case, I'm just using chunky off-road tires. These might be terrible in the snow, but we're not in the snow, we're in dirt and rocks and stuff, so these are decent enough. Generally speaking, long wheelbase vehicles are not great off-road. That's just because their breakover angles are really poor. The more wheelbase you have, the taller it needs to be in order to have a good breakover angle. Basically, you can get beached really easily in a long vehicle, so shorter wheelbase is actually better. There is a golden ratio though. You don't want to be too short, otherwise you're just gonna flip over. Just think of a Jeep, pretty much. A two-door Jeep is the golden ratio of off-road. And then probably the last thing is you need a decent amount of power, something that can give you that low-end torque that you need to get over things without having so much power that you just spin the wheels and blow things up and like damage stuff, essentially. This AI created thing actually does have pretty much everything that we need. Now, I gave it these wheels, I gave it its style. But I did not change the gearing, I didn't change the engine, I didn't change any of its components. I just left it as is and sent it. And it's good. So, again, let's make it better. The first area where it falls short in my mind is not actually in here. We've got steel stuff, it's heavy, that's fine. Ladder frame, longitudinal engine, coil springs, all good. In terms of the actual body, it is weird, but for the sake of the build, I'm not going to change that. I don't think that changing the body is really going to do anything for us anyways. That's just basically making a whole new vehicle, so it's going to stay as is. As you can see though, it is essentially a minivan. Like this body style is a car/van. It's not a truck. At least it's not supposed to be. One of the things you can do on this body is obviously morph it. I can take things and bring them in and out. I'm going to try to raise it as high as I can possibly get it, so we're sucking in this here, which will give us a little bit more angle, I guess, there that we can work with, and then over on this side, it can either pull down or go up, and it's going up. So hopefully that's a little bit better departure angle and also approach angle. We'll see. Now the styling needs to be completely redone. This is like all over the place. I just basically took 2 minutes and slapped it together, so I will give it a complete makeover. This is just not going to work as is. And that's what we're going to do next. First things first, I made it just matte white because, yeah, I'm going to change that to something else because matte white is cool, but it's just not quite right. There we go. Let's make it just a nice red. I realize that red is the default color in automation, so when vehicles are red, it's just like, oh, it's red, everything's red, but it's going to be a slightly off from the default automation red, so hopefully you won't notice. I am going to keep the plastic trim. I think that that works best for off-road vehicles. Why would you want chrome off-road? It's just going to get scratched. Plastic, it's going to get scratched too, but it's plastic, so it's easy to replace. And cheap, that's the main thing. One of the funny things I see these days, I live in a vacation area. My house is waterfront, and a lot of the houses around me are cottages. So there'll be people coming up from Toronto, because I live pretty far north now, and they are driving some crazy expensive vehicles. Oftentimes, the adventure vehicles, if you know what I mean. As an example, the Rivian, what is it, RT1, whatever their SUVs and trucks are. But those things are just so expensive that unless you're ridiculously ballin', why would you ever take one of those off road? I know they're marketed as lifestyle vehicles, but like they're just so pricey that it's not worth it to take it off road. For me personally, and I've discussed this before on the channel, one of my ideas is I want to buy like the cheapest four-wheel drive pickup truck that actually functions that I could find on Facebook Marketplace and do this for a video. And then take that off road, because if I break it or scratch it or dent it or if I hit a tree, I don't care. But if I have a $150,000 Rivian, I'm gonna care. I'm gonna cry if I hit something with that. It doesn't make sense. It's like weirdly showy and yeah, non-functional. I don't know. There's some weird stuff like that. I mean, if you look at the new Toyotas, the TRD off or the TRD Pro, actually, I think Tacoma, the fenders on it are painted, if I'm not mistaken, and they're not plastic. It's just a weird oversight again. Like, I don't know. You need plastic in those spots because it's going to get ruined. So styling, I want to keep some of the core components because otherwise it's not going to look the same. Oh, that's really big now. Maybe shrink that down a little bit. But yeah, I want to keep some of the core stuff that I had last time. But I have more time this time and I have a little bit more energy. So let's make it better. I actually don't hate the headlights. I just think that they were poorly placed last time, which is probably because I rushed to get it out as quickly as possible. Today I have a little bit more time than I did because my family is out and I am home alone, which is very strange. Being a dad of 2 kids now, I don't have a lot of time for myself, so having a little bit of time means immediately, let's get those hobbies going. This is the only time I have for that, and that means automation. So these sort of mock Lexus, Lexus E grills. Where's the actual Lexus grill? It's like that Predator face. I am not a fan of the Predator face Lexuses at all. They're more modern faces that they have, which is very obvious on the new TX. I think it is the bigger SUV, but not as big as the Land Cruiser one. Like, that's a nice looking front end on an SUV, but the previous generations, not so much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ape the previous generations because this vehicle is really hideous anyways. What this looks like to me is one of those like Chinese knockoff SUVs, or like the Chinese knockoff Ram TRXs that are just like tiny K style cars, or basically golf carts actually. They're smaller than K cars. Honestly, I don't hate this. I realize that it's not gonna win any awards, but that is not as bad as it was. And I think with a little bit of changing around here, especially making this black plastic, that'll be improved. Yeah, no, that is a good little subtle piece there. So I have been thinking a lot about what to do with this engine. The thing does not make a lot of power. I don't really want to change it completely just because it does work. It's not fast, but it works. So let's just supercharge it. I know my first indication was going to be just like, okay, V6 gone, V8 in. But maybe it just needs a little bit of boost. Or maybe it needs an i6. I don't know. V6 is boring. I don't hate V6s, but it could be better. I'm going to give it some kind of badge because it just needs something to fill up this little hole here. There's just nothing there right now. There you go. Giant automation logo, filling the gap, and that looks a lot better. A lot of cars these days are very angular. They're very bumpy. They have a lot of stuff going on. I don't hate that necessarily. I mean, the reality is that styling changes over time, and if styling stayed the same, we'd all be really, really bored of it. So it's good to see some things different. However, sometimes it's way over the top and overdone. So I'm going to do a little bit of over top and overdone myself here. I see this a lot with the modern vehicles where they just have these like cheeks, I'm going to call them. Like it basically just looks like cheeks. It's a weird little protrusion at the front, but you can see how that kind of brings it together. Like that would have been just empty space, right? So give it a little something something, and there you go. Now you have something in there. And if I mean, if you're feeling it, you can also put a light in there too. There you go, that's a more designed friend than we had before. A lot more detail, probably not necessarily for the better, but at least it has something there, and I think it just needs a number plate and we'll be good. Now, I used to have my own license plates in this game that somebody had made for me, and they are unfortunately gone. So instead, we are going to be using whatever is available, including whatever this is. Finland. Sorry, Finland, this abomination resides in your country. Good luck. See, now I have to wonder if Finland requires front plates or not. The answer is unknown. Kind of just feel like a lot of off-road trucks these days have hood scoops, even if they're non-functional, like Toyota's. Sorry, I'm calling out Toyota a lot today. Toyota is on my mind just because we're hoping to buy a new car within the next year, or maybe a little bit more than that, depending on the garage and how much that ends up being, because building projects always go over budget. But I've been like, man, I really want to get a 4Runner, and then I was like, man, but then that's probably not the best family vehicle. Are we gonna have to get a Highlander? And there's obviously alternatives. You can just go and get something from a different manufacturer, but Toyota is Toyota for a reason. And it sucks, but paying that Toyota tax has worked out for us in the past. So yeah, I mean, Nissan exists, other brands exist. I could go and buy something else, but I don't know. It's just not the same. Okay, we have mirrors, and they are black plastic, as they should be for a vehicle like this, but now it actually looks a lot more legit. And because I committed to adding more detail to this, I'm also going to go ahead and add some windshield wipers and a couple other small things just to kind of bring it together. So BRB, and I'll see you back here. Well, I could have sworn that there were side steps in the bumpers tab here, but I might be going nuts. Either way, not a big deal. I guess our breakover angle is preserved. I just wanted to give this side a little bit more detail, but the front is looking a lot better. At least I think so. I just went around and added some stuff, and I fixed the door handles being the wrong way around, and gas cap is fixed and that sort of thing. There is still a lot left to do, though. This back end needs some love, and wheels and engine, and yeah, stick with me. There's more to do. Okay, trying to do a little bit of work on the back end, and I sort of realized that this thing is cupped ridiculously, and I can't fix that with the fixtures, so it is what it is. Or, I mean the body morphs. I can't fix it with body morphs, so it is going to be just that way. Not a huge deal, but it is pretty funky, and it doesn't look right most of the time. So it is what it is. It's going to be like that. So just ignore it if you can. I'm trying to. Previously, I had the exhaust coming out this way. I'm actually just going to send it out the side here instead. Hopefully that comes together. Now, realistically, these things are going to get destroyed by being bounced off of every single rock on the planet, but they stick out nicely, and you can see automation has redone the way exhaust works, so we have a single exhaust, and it still comes out of both tips, which is really cool. So thank you, devs, for adding that kind of little detail. That's really nice. I like that a lot. As an example, my Tibron, which is a real car, has this similar setup. It's got dual exhaust, but it's a 4-cylinder, so it's only got one pipe coming down it. Same thing with my truck. Although that's a V8, it just converges into one, and then back out to 2 for some reason. But this looks better. Definitely better. Now, let's bring this plate over here, because we need it. Just going to put old license plate right in the middle there. Not great, but it is what it is. And the bed kind of needs a little bit more detail. Like, this is just empty, weird space, so need to do something about that. Other than that, it's time for some wheels and a few other small details, and somehow the mirrors got flipped. There we go. Oh my goodness. Whoa, that is not bad. That is actually really cool. For a race truck, man, that might need to be the next version of this. Race truck styled winged. Oh, that is just so darn cool. People will be in the comments like, oh man, I was totally with you until you put that wing on there. Yeah. I agree. Okay, it's too much. For right now, it's too much, but soon. Definitely soon. Before I get into the engine, I want to make it have bigger wheels. I just think it needs slightly bigger wheels, even if it isn't, well, let's just do it and see what it looks like. So chassis track width, we're going to increase a little bit, and maybe by 10, so it's going to be quite a bit wider, especially wider than it was going to let me go before. Actually, maybe 8. We're going for that Raptor stance. I put Raptor style wheels on it too. I think that's what it needs. Obviously, I can get more ride height, and I am going to do just that. We're going to go up to 5. That is a lot of ride height. And then for wheels, my biggest thing is that the tires are just not tall enough. I think it needs taller tires. This is 15-inch wheels, but we need more height. I know that that might mean that this conflicts, and there might be some issues. It's not going to be perfect, but at least we'll have bigger wheels. So let's give it a shot. Specifically in the tire sizes here, tire diameter increase, that's what we need. Oh my goodness, those are chunky. That's pretty much the limit of what I can get before it starts to clip. So let's put that on the back too and see what that looks like. That's 8 on the front and 8 on the back. That is big. That is a lot bigger than it was. I'm actually going to drop the ride height down 2 points. And there you go. I think that might be good. That is very off-road focused, very off-road oriented. It is tall. It is very baw in my mind as well. I like this a lot. I think it's going to be good. Okay, engine. What are we looking at here? Yikes. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it does what it needs to do. I think that's probably the point that we're at with this one. Looking at the graphs, we're running 176 horsepower, 334 newton meters of torque down low, which is pretty decent. I'm going to hit it with a second AI tune. I know the AI already created the engine and therefore it tuned it, but I'm going to hit it with another one, and we're up to 200 horsepower, so that's an immediate gain of 22 horsepower roughly, and a decent amount of torque down low, which is good. With this engine, what can we do to just get it more power without making it all new again? That's basically my idea. It's basically a 3.6 V6, but I think I can do more. Probably the easiest way to do it is to give it better quality components. This was at -1 before, so like, what the heck, game? Let's just start with some easy things. Reliability thresholds and stuff are looking decent. Exhaust is a little bit restrictive. I think we can probably get away with increasing the quality of these components quite significantly. So it's got very nice, like a very nice crank. Let's go for a nice con rods as well, which will increase the capability of it significantly. And then instead of doing cast pistons, we'll do forged pistons, which should again increase the ability to make power. And the crank here, forged steel light, that's not amazing. So we're going to do billet steel, which is, again, major upgrade, a lot of power. Let's see what this thing will do just with an AI tune. I mean, the whole theme of this build is AI. That's 238. So we lost a little bit of torque and we gained a decent amount of power. Already we're up like, what is that, like 60 horsepower? That's not bad. 238 is looking good. I'm wishing for more torque though. We do have more RPM to work with now, and it's just generally more reliable, so we'll leave it there. That should be fine. Or maybe better quality too. That could help. 242. Again, I'll hit it with the high quality components here, and that's up to 248. I don't want to get too crazy with this stuff. We'll leave it for the AI tune to tune itself. Naturally aspirated, it's gonna stay that way as much as that sucks for now. Maybe we need to do a full Baja build on this at some point, but today is not that day. So it's EFI, it's currently single EFI. I'm actually just gonna switch it to per cylinder EFI. I hardly ever use EFI in this game, but having high quality stuff is gonna make it a lot faster and a lot better. So let's do it. Now it's running super gas unleaded. Let's put it up here and let's give it a race intake. This is going to increase power significantly. 333. That is a lot of power. Hit it with the old AI tune once again, and it brakes for a second. 310. So we dropped a little bit from that, but it's probably a safer tune, which is what this thing likes to make. It's crazy how much just a little bit can make this engine sing. by increasing the quality of things, swapping it over to dual exhaust, and going for a tubular race header, I guarantee power is going to increase significantly with that. And we're also not going to run any cats. 342. Yikes. I'm going to do double straight through mufflers instead of the baffled one that was here. I think that's just generally going to work out better. And again, AI tune. 380, oh yes please. We have increased the power by over 200. Wow, it's up 200 horsepower. That is significant. This is going to be a lot quicker than it was. And that engine is looking a little bit nicer than it did before. That is cool now. Okay, let's just do a quick pull. Genuinely sounds like a G35 on steroids. That is wicked. Okay, I'm glad, for once, I'm glad I didn't put a V8 in it. You'll never hear me say that again. You're not going to be able to see it, but here's a blue valve cover for you. And that's it. 380 horses out of a 3.6 liter V6. Hopefully I didn't lose you at some point in there. That is good power, and I think it's going to be a lot faster a vehicle because of it. So, on to all this stuff. I mean, we have AI tuning for the gearing as well, and I'm curious to see what it can actually do. Looks like it's anticipating a top speed of 159. I'm going to go for a manual 6-speed gearbox, and we have manual lockers, which is all good for off-road. Top gear is probably decent where it is. I'm going to change the speed limiter to none though. And yeah, okay, I figured that it had a lot more in it there. I mean, this is going to make our spread a lot more significant. It was probably able to have so much torque before because there was a speed limiter on it, but having an extra gear should hopefully bring that into the same place it was before. It's still really slow, and that's fine, but at least it has a little bit more juice to it. I think it's going to be better. As always, I'm like, man, I hope I didn't ruin the gearing. I really hope I didn't screw it up by doing that. But we will find out soon. So before, like, it's 7.7 seconds to 100. I mean, it does have chunky off-road tires, but it looks like you have to get into third gear to get to 100. So that's probably why. The spread is really low, and that's why it's doing this. But low spread is better for off-road, so that's what we want. And everything here is going to stay the same. I've already modified the wheels with the advanced tuning, so there's no point in changing these. It is what it is. Brakes, I mean, I gave it massive brakes. I'm going to give it huge brakes this time, just to give it some kind of stopping power. And then everything else here is good. Bench seat, please. Nice sporty interior. Give me the standard stuff. And I think... oh, Jesus, manual steering, wow. The suspension last time was good, so I'm not even going to bother changing it. Everything else here is done, I think. It's a 380 horsepower variant with basically the same stuff as it had before, just a tuned engine, still naturally aspirated, bigger wheels, better styling, and overall, hopefully, a little bit better. It's kind of an ape raptor in some areas, and then also not. You can see it got a little crazy with the paint and made it painted plastic fenders. You can see those are actually plastic, but it looks cool, so I'm down with it. Let's get this thing into beamng before my family comes home, and let's run it and see how it does. Oh, beamng looking a little different these days. Hey, I like to see it. My wife texted me. I got like 10 minutes, maybe 15 to get this sucker done before we have to pack it in. So boys, here's the speed run. So grid map V2 is where we were before, running on these off-road pieces here. I think it's probably, well, for the sake of comparison, let's go back there. I think it's going to be fine. It should be okay in the same sort of obstacles it was in before. I want to try something new. So we'll do some actual off-roading, not just this. Okay, it's looking pretty good. It actually looks pretty orange in beamng, which is not a bad thing. Orange is cool. I love these sort of dual exhaust systems. There's a reason I have that on my truck. I also put ESC on it for better or worse. And we also have an off-road preset for ESC as well, which I was hoping might even give it a bit of an edge. So let's just run through the same sort of course I did last time. Immediately it feels faster, and again, I didn't redo the suspension. I think that the suspension was good, the way the AI had done it last time, and I feel that it's pretty much exactly the same, if not just a little bit more peppy in these areas, so that's a good thing. We can do these obstacles a lot quicker if you want to. Or just break the thing easier too. I guess that's what happens when you have more power. I love the way this engine sounds. It's not really loud, but hopefully you can hear it. Like, I did give it mufflers, so it is quieter in beamng. Okay, let me do this one the proper way and not the YOLO way. There you go. Sorry if it's the first time you've heard that term in the last 5 years. Okay. A little bit more off-roady stuff here. This is no issue for this at all. Just curious, I'm gonna leave it in 4 high and just kind of let it crawl and with the clutch down, and okay, maybe with the change of gearing it's not able to do that. I believe I was crawling over this stuff in 4 high before, in like 3rd gear. Like, it's definitely possible that by having a speed limiter it actually improves its low speed maneuverability there. So last time I did this section I had to go into all of the diffs and everything. This time, not so much. Okay, I think I've done what I set out to do in this regard. I don't think I need to do the rest of the course to prove that it's good, or at least as good as its counterpart. However, these things are looking tricky. That looks like a lot of fun. I did not do them last time. There is something I do want to do though, and it is somewhere around here. As you would suspect, off-road tires, really not that grippy. Very, very susceptible to doing this kind of thing. And doing it endlessly as well. 2-wheel peel all down the street with this truck if you want it. I've actually turned this into something I'm pretty happy with. I don't love the front end, but I really like the way that this looks now. It's decent, and especially the back end. Let's go ahead and... where the heck is that obstacle? Would you kindly drive up that, please? I'm pretty sure that's what I fought before, or something similar to it. Ah, that is the exact piece right there. I found it. Okay, let's give it a shot. I think that with a little bit more juice, we might actually be able to make it up this. And also ground clearance helps too. First try? Oh, okay, yeah. I do think it'll do it. I'm gonna give it a little bit of beans here. I'm in for high. Well, now I am. I'm gonna lock both diffs and then run at it. Nope. That's not the way to do it. Moderate amount of speed, not too much. Yes! It did it! Yes! Oh, man. All the way over. Thank you. Next. Okay. That was not bad at all. That was decent. Now let's go somewhere a little bit different. Okay, the children are coming. The children are coming. We gotta run here, boys. Run, run, run. Let's finish this video off in the quarry. Wow, that was some lag. Let's finish this video off in the quarry on the West Coast map. And I'm going to continue to burn the synchronizers in the transmission. Just keep that in mind. This is some real off-roading. I mean, I'm off-road. I'm on gravel. Gravel roads, darn, never mind. This is not off-roading. Would you look at that? There's a mall parking lot. No, we're worth more than that. Just a little bit. Just wanted to say though, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I will get back to you again soon with some more stuff. I'm just looking forward to making more videos and having a little bit more time to do so in the future. But until then, you'll see me sparingly and hopefully more frequently in real life as well. I have some video ideas. I actually went out and bought a real camera, and I'm learning how to use it currently, and I'm going to be using it to make some IRL videos, so that should be quite a bit of fun. Until then, guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you again soon. Back into the quarry and into the pit. Subscribe, please. We just hit 65K, man. There's a lot of time left this year to get up to 100, so let's do it. See you soon.